evening. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
5 theories that show how we create our own reality. This article was written by Tracy Dawn from urbanwellnessmag.com. There are a few quotes that stand out that explain the nature of reality. Quote, "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." Wayne Dyer. Quote, "Thoughts become things. If you see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand." Bob Proctor. Quote, "When you make a choice, you change the future." Deepak Chopra. Modern psychology, New Age thought, quantum mechanics, and the nocebo effect collectively describe an important foundation of spirituality and self-discovery. The realization that your thoughts create your world. Let's explore more. Quantum physics. The observer effect was created to describe the relationship between subatomic particles and the observer. Through multiple experiments, quantum physics has shown that subatomic particles appear to exist only as a wave of probabilities until they are observed, at which time they collapse into a single place in time. Therefore, the observer effect states that there is no reality until that reality is perceived. This profound insight tells us that we alter every object in the world simply by paying attention to it. If you are unhappy with a certain experience in your life, you can choose to steer your focus towards something else that is aligned with your own positive expectations. Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments. Dr. Emoto studied the effect of human consciousness on water and found that emotional energies and vibrations could change its physical structure. Dr. Emoto exposed glasses of water to different words, pictures, or music, and then froze the water to examine the formation of crystals under a microscope. The conclusion of Dr. Emoto's experiments found that water exposed to positive speech and thoughts would result in visually appealing crystal structures. In contrast, water exposed to negative words and thoughts would result in asymmetrical, disturbing, and incomplete crystal patterns. Modern psychology. The study of psychology describes a schema as a mental construct of preconceived ideas used to form our ultimate perception and worldview. As a human being who perceives the world, you have a schema which helps you understand the otherwise random objects and circumstances you encounter. We are more likely to notice objects that align with our schema, and therefore perception of the world, and are less likely to notice items which do not, thus reinforcing our beliefs about reality. Cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, is a very common form of therapy used by psychologists. The underlying premise of this treatment is that our thoughts cause our feelings and behaviors, not external things such as people, situations, and events. Distorted patterns of thought can be examined to change the way we perceive the external world and improve our experience of it. New Age thought. Leaders in New Age thought, Abraham and Esther Hicks, describe a belief as merely a thought that you continue to think. Therefore, a belief system is a chronic pattern of thoughts that you continue to think. A belief such as, "I'm not lucky, and I never win anything," is an example of a chronic thought pattern. According to this model, once you are aware of your belief system and acknowledge that it is based on your perception rather than reality, you can choose a new thought. For example, by replacing the above sentence with, "I'm a lucky person, and fortune always finds me," you will have created a new belief system around luck. The nocebo effect. Our modern healthcare system is based on the biomedical model that uses empirical study to determine the effectiveness of pharmaceutical drugs. Often these studies compare the effect of a drug against a placebo to measure its effectiveness. In contrast to the placebo, the nocebo effect is used to measure the expectation of a bad outcome. For example, studies found that by giving a sugar pill to a person with lactose intolerance, the participant would experience negative gastrointestinal symptoms because they believed they had ingested a lactose substance and expected to experience discomfort. The repercussions of the nocebo effect are being considered by scientists who study consciousness. If a negative expectation is powerful enough to induce physical symptoms, what are the implications in other areas of life? We make judgments every day in an attempt to predict our experience. If applying a negative expectation, are we unintentionally affecting our own experience? As a spiritual seeker, you will inevitably be required to examine your relationship with your thoughts. However you choose to integrate this information, acknowledge that you have the power to create your own reality. By doing so, you will move from a place of victimhood, experiencing external events as happening to you, to a place of power where you realize your inherent ability to shape the world around you. Review your current state and your general sense of contentment with what is. If you're feeling unhappy or dissatisfied, simply choose another experience and observe the transformation that follows.